Welcome to the 129th season of the Canadian Club Toronto, Canada's podium. For over a century, this stage has united visionaries and leaders from politics, business, community, and the arts to share insights on the most pressing issues of our time. And with Canada in a pivotal moment, it's more important than ever that we come together.
We've been having important discussions and debates around this podium in this country for well over a century. I call this a historic podium of record.
Our club's always been a forum for visionaries, public figures, and decision makers to command attention to the issues of our time.
The Canadian Club is one of the most important podiums anywhere in the world that a Canadian can speak to, tell Canadians what it is that they think, develop those thoughts. And so I want to thank you for that very, very much.
Please join me in thanking our esteemed panelists today.
Through our programs and events, including our youth and young leaders programs, our diversity partnerships, our joint events, and our media and social media opportunities, we offer you access to dynamic political, social, and business figures from abroad and right here at home.
The platform from which the eloquence of Canada has flowed all of that time, whether it be business, education, politics, sports, arts and culture. If someone wants to say something to Canadians about this country and about the future of this country, this is the venue you choose.
Okay, I'm good to go. Good afternoon once again, everyone. A warm welcome to everyone joining us online at canadianclub.org. Welcome back. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors who make events like today possible. Today's event is presented by LiUNA. Thank you very much for your generous sponsorship. I'd also like to thank our season sponsors at the Canadian Bankers Association, as well as our official airline partners at Air Canada. Canadian Club Toronto is also a proud partner of Canada's Forest Trust Corporation for the third year in a row as our nature partner. Through that partnership, we're planting and protecting trees in Canadian forests to capture carbon, support biodiversity, and enhance our ecosystems. This afternoon, we also welcome students from TMU's The Dais, U of T's Political Science program, and the University of Toronto Schools. Welcome. Before we welcome the mayor, I'd just like to remind you to check out the canadianclub.org for upcoming events and on-demand content. If you're not already a member of the club, we invite you to join our community. We also encourage you to share today's discussion on the social media network of your choice. If you have questions for Mayor Chow today, use the Q&A cards on your table. Our team will collect them and share them with today's moderator. For those joining remotely, you can submit a question by hitting Submit a Question button on the right side of your screen. Our team will keep an eye out for them. It's now my pleasure to welcome our esteemed guest. Her Worship Olivia Chow is the 66th Mayor of Toronto, a longtime champion of social equity, of housing and public transit. She's served this city and our country for over 3 decades, first as a school trustee, then as a city councillor, as a member of parliament, and now as our mayor. Since 2023, she has brought her lived experience, her passion, and her vision for a more affordable and caring city. Mayor Chow, Canada's podium is yours.
Thank you, Dan. I thought of the first question. How is it that we have a snowstorm that early? And what the heck are you doing about it? It's 41 days before the winter starts. Thank you. And thank you all for being here today. It's been a while since we gathered like this, to have a chance to look at each other in the eye, to take a breath, and to talk honestly about where our city has been and where we are going. 2 years ago, I stood in a room very much like this one, different hotel, and I talked about how Toronto is worth believing in again, worth fighting for. Because at that time, things weren't working. Families were being squeezed every direction. Housing costs had doubled. Transit projects has fallen behind. The basics, the things people counted on, were falling apart. And sometimes even there is a deeper piece that began to crack. People believe in this place, in each other, in the very idea that a city is more than buildings and balance sheets, that a city is a promise we make to one another. The belief that if you work hard here, you should be able to build a good life, that a safe, affordable, caring city is not too much to ask for. Before I took office, that belief was fading. So I asked people to believe again, not in me, but in all of us, in the idea that a city is strongest when we show up for each other, when we roll up our sleeves and get to work, when we care for each other. And let me tell you something. Folks need that caring city now more than ever. When people are feeling stretched more and more each day, when our closest ally feels like our worst enemy, when the basic bargain that hard work should get you ahead feels far out of reach, that's when the city must step up. That's when we fight hardest for each other. The vision of a city that is safe, affordable, and caring has guided every day of my work at City Hall. But the truth is, it has been a part of Toronto's identity much longer than that. Before the towers and the traffic, and yes, the traffic, long before amalgamation or Metro Hall, the land was known by some as Takaronto, where the trees stood tall in the water. A place that stood tall, yes, certain, even when the waters rose around it. Strong, not because it avoided the storms, but because it stood tall through all of the storm. It has always been a meeting place where people came together, not just to survive, but to build, yes, to dream, to do good things. Still today, we draw from that strength. Still today, we stand where the trees once stood, and together we reach for what comes next. A city that cares for people, no matter how high the water rise around us. From day one, that meant tackling the hardest problem first, Toronto's finances. And because when the city is unstable, families feel unstable. They feel uneasy. When budgets fall apart, services fall apart. When City Hall can't pay its bills and cut services, real people suffer. So while we did not create the fiscal crisis, we took responsibility for fixing it. We put aside the politics, we worked with our partners at Queen's Park, we secured a historic New Deal that helped close part of our $1.8 billion budget gap. We worked with our past and new partners in Ottawa, securing hundreds of millions for new housing, thousands of units now being built. It wasn't easy. I remember an older woman took me aside at a subway station. I visit every different subway station every week, and said to me, "Mayor, it's good that my TDC fare hasn't gone up, but I am barely hanging on. My groceries bill have gone up. My mortgage has gone up dramatically. My taxes are going up. I can't handle it much more." I understood her desperation. I felt it. She was right. Times are incredibly tough. But I also told her the truth. I said to her, "Look around you. Our TDC stations, They're falling apart. Our subway cars are really old. Our tracks and signals need fixing. If I don't do anything and let our city crumble, your kids won't have a Toronto worth staying in, and neither would my grandkids. She nodded because deep down, she knew what I knew, that a caring, safe, and affordable city we all want to live in requires all of us to work together, to give a little bit more. I know it wasn't easy for a lot of people not fortunate enough to be able to have a few bucks left at the end of the month. Grocery, yes, of course, cost more. Mortgages have gone up. We know that. But you know what I've witnessed through this year? People across the city have shown us quiet civic generosity, a belief in each other, a belief that made it possible not just to stop the decline, but to start building again. And I want to say thank you for that. Not just as mayor, but as your neighbor. Because of that shared effort, something remarkable is happening. People have started betting on Toronto again. For the first time in almost a quarter century, our credit rating was upgraded to AA+, the strongest one of the strongest in North America. And investors from around the world are lining up. Our bonds are oversubscribed. They're buying it, saving the city almost $50 million. Why? Because they believe what people here already know. They can trust Toronto to deliver. And here's why that matters to you. When the city can borrow for less, pay less in interest, we can build housing faster. We can repair the basics without new burdens. And City Hall can do its part to help working families feeling the pinch. Now, I want to share something with you. Food. It's a thank you card. This is a card I got from a student from Joseph Cardinal Elementary School. He's around 6 or 7 years old. He, along with 30 of his classmates, took the time to write to me and did some beautiful drawing of food also. Their school was one of the schools that now benefit from the school food program, universal one, established citywide. Every kid in every school by September 2026 will have a good meal. This program saves the average family with 2 kids $880 a year on groceries, making their life more affordable. That's incredibly important, especially when the price of good food is skyrocketing, when more and more people are using the food bank, and many of them are kids. Let me read what the kids said. Dear Mr. Chow, okay, all right. Yep, Mr. Chow, okay. Serious. Thank you for bringing the school food program to our school. It helps to stay energized and focused throughout the day. Okay, those long words. I really appreciate all the efforts you put into providing us with healthy and delicious snacks. That's pretty good writing and good words. You know what gets me? Is that word appreciate. A 7-year-old saying thank you for a meal. No child should have to worry about whether they'll eat today. They shouldn't go to school hungry. No parent should have to choose between feeding their kids breakfast or paying their hydro bill. But that's the reality for too many families in this city. And when I read that card, I don't just see gratitude. I see a reminder of what we are fighting for. I see why we can never give up. That's why I go to work every day. That's what makes it all worth it. The impact we can make on people's lives, on our kids' lives, on our grandkids' life. We've done a lot to help families in these difficult times. Every library across the city is now open on Sundays, so family can spend an afternoon together without having to open their wallet. They have lots of fun. Teenagers can go there after school. I'd rather they hang out in the library than other places. We have opened community hubs and provided more summer jobs and recreation programs for kids. And for the second year in a row, we are not raising TDC fares, saving the average family about $300 a year. And we'll do it again in January 2026. When the city's finances are stable, yes, oh, thank you. Yeah, more money in your pocket, right? And yeah, when the city's finances are stable, we can finally deliver for people. When we have strong, stable relationship with other levels of government, we see results. A dad or a mom in Etobicoke can get home to his kids faster because the gardener opened 18 months ahead of schedule. 18 months. Yes, it's open, 6 lanes. King and Church, the construction opened months ahead of schedule. King and Dufferin opened weeks ahead of schedule. The DVP off-ramp got fixed quickly without drama, without major traffic chaos, but a lot faster. When we work together, we give working families who step up, you give them a bit more stability in their daily lives. Now, even with the progress we've made, I know we can do more when families' budgets are stretched. And so, while the final budget won't be out until early next year, I'm confident that we will be able to give taxpayers a break next year. Yes, taxpayer needs a break, while protecting the progress we've made and continuing to build a stable, responsible budget. No cuts and no big spikes for family budget. Because I hear you. People stepped up when the city needed them most. They now deserve some stability and certainty at home. Fiscal strength is not the destination, it's the foundation. We didn't fix the books to pat ourselves on the back, even though it feels nice. We did it so we can build again, so we can deliver for people like those kids at Joseph Cardinal School. And together we build a lot. We're putting shovels in the ground on 25,000 new homes this year and the next. And many of those units are deeply affordable. This year, right now, 65% of all housing starts that are city-led or city-supported projects. They couldn't have started without the city's incentive. That's 65% of all buildings. And after years of delays and frustration, housing approval are now 80% faster, turning the slowest system in North America into one of the fastest. You can now apply it online. Whoa. Amend your application online so you don't have to resubmit and wait forever. Fast, transparent, easier to build. I've been hearing from the developing community, the home builders community, developers. I know we still have some more work to do, but we've got encouraging feedback. One developer who worked with the city for years, he was used to delays, red tapes, endless back and forth on approvals and zoning, go to building and parks and then planning and then legal and etc. He had his building approved in record 3 months. Over 800 homes right downtown, on Bay Street actually. A new project on Eglinton in Scarborough, a cooperative, 900 homes, including 600 of them affordable, approved in 69 days. A developer called it an Olympic speed record in the Toronto Star. They couldn't believe it. Well, believe it. We're getting things done. We're getting things done a lot faster. We've moved 4,300 people out of shelters into permanent homes. And renters can feel a bit more secure because we've introduced new protections from bad landlords. On transit and roads, we've invested on new subway cars for Line 2, 55 of them, creating good Canadian jobs. That one was waiting on the books for 6 years. We got it. We got it from the federal and the provincial government. They were going back and forth a bit, but I said, well, come on, let's do this. We went from just 2 traffic agents before I took office. Yes, I counted them, only 2. The entire city, to 100 today, keeping the busiest intersections clear and people moving. And caring means nothing if you don't feel safe in your community. And it's a concern. That's why we've made a historic investment in strong, stable, 5-year hiring plan for police. And investment that's already delivering results. Shootings are down 40%. Auto theft is down 32%. Okay? We invested in more firefighters, paramedics, more trained 911 call takers, and response time when you call 911. Hope none of you ever have to. The response time are now 70% faster, from a minute plus to 23 seconds. When we keep going down, we can do this. We know we can do it. We've done it. I mean, there are more. Thank you. And for the first time ever, we've placed trained mental health workers on the TDC. So the right kind of help shows up when people need it most. And please download the Safe TTC app so that when you see someone that are sleeping or having a mental health crisis, someone that is acting up, let us know. Progress isn't just measured in dollars or ribbon cuttings. It's measured in patience and sometimes frustration, but always in hope. There's always more to do. But for the first time in a very long time, we can look forward not just to catch up. Toronto now has a stronger foundation, so we can dream again. We can get our swagger back, not for bragging rights, but so we can build what matters most to people. The next budget will reflect this. More progress on housing, more investment in safety services and transit, a focus on making life more affordable, less waste, less burden on families who have already stepped up, because together we are building something better than when we started. A Toronto that is safer, a Toronto that's more affordable, a Toronto that cares and delivers for you. Let's keep building that city together. Thank you very much for coming today.
Are these on? Yes?
Yes.
Mayor, thank you so much for that rousing talk. We're very, very excited to have you here. Folks, thanks so much for being in the room today. Mayor, the last time you were here was January 2024. You had just inked the New Deal, which you referenced earlier. We are now 22 months into from that period of time. Can you talk a little bit about, let's focus on infrastructure first. Can you talk a little bit about what you have done in the last 22 months following on infrastructure? And I'm thinking primarily about the conversation around congestion in the city, around people moving. Can you talk a little bit about what you've done and what you plan on doing?
Well, last time I was here, I talked about getting the city back on track. Well, being able to have finally uploaded the Garner and the DVP back to the provincial government, we're able to spend $500 million on fixing the TDC. This is the biggest capital budget investment on TDC ever. So yes, it's frustrating to see the TDC being close to, for maintenance from time to time. It's painful. But if we don't fix it, just the entire thing will fall apart. There will be service interruption all the time. So we're fixing the TDC. We're building a busway to help out folks in Scarborough. We are buying the 55 subway cars, finally. And by the way, it's all Canadian jobs, most of them.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's important. And we are planning on 2 rapid transit, one on the waterfront from Union Station over to the new park to East Harbor, where we could eventually build 100,000 units of housing right by the waterfront.
Amazing.
So, yeah, that is a very important line. Hopefully we can ink the deal soon. And we're planning on a Scarborough light rapid transit up in with many stops. So we're planning that. There's also funding that we put aside for building bridges and roads. Potholes, we need to rebuild them, yes. And we are investing in recreation center and parks. Those are important too, because when you go into a recreation center or a park, if the washroom breaks apart, you know, it doesn't work. So all of that is important. The hydro, the street lights needs to be fixed, you know, the underground thing, because the hydro too is old. So lots of infrastructure project. But because we have a good working relationship, we're able to do the construction a lot faster, which then ease the congestion a bit.
Any news on the Eglinton LRT?
Take a deep breath, sigh, another deep breath. I don't have complete control over it, but when they turn it over to us, our workers are being trained on it, and Metrolink said, soon, it's happening, it's happening. Now, the one on Finch is happening, okay? Our workers are trained, Metrolink still have to have a few more things they need to fix, and we are training our workers. I think that one is going to open soon. And then at Eglinton, it's next, Crosstown. We're doing this, yes.
Wonderful, thank you. Let's turn to affordable housing. I think you mentioned quite a bit in your talk just now about faster approvals in the city, more affordable housing units. What more is there to do? What more will the city be doing?
Let's see, it's 1:10. How much time do you have? There's a lot we can do. We have, right now the financing is hard, even though the interest rate have been dropping, but it's still very expensive to build. There are builders here. They would tell you the costs have gone up. The steel and aluminum has gone up, the cost of it. The financial, in terms of the interest rate, is still a bit high. So without the city stepping in to help, even though we have 300,000 units of housing approved, it's in the pipeline. All the zonings are done. People are not building as much. So what the city have done is that we are exempting the development charges, all of it, and property tax cuts of 15%. As a result, we have 8,000 units of rental housing being built. The dentist, for example, Laguna Fufan Gate are being built. There are many more being built, which is why 65% of the building in Toronto is because of the financial incentives we're able to give to the private sector. The problem is this: we don't have enough fiscal room to do more. So we are inviting the federal and the provincial government, if they can provide a lot more funding for infrastructure programs, then it will free us up to lower the cost of building. and lower the development charges, lower the property tax in order for more building to happen. And what's encouraging is that I saw on the federal budget and the provincial budget both said they will invest in a lot more in infrastructure. So I think we can do more. And we have the province and the city and myself, we are increasing the density of buildings around transit hubs. There's no reason why, if there's a subway station right near you or LRT station, why you can't have taller buildings. The initial application that went in was 500,000 units. That's not good enough for this big city of ours. So I said, well, let's triple it. 1.5 million is the density, is the number of units we're going to be able to get. The density is much higher, and hopefully we can get it through council in April. It's ambitious. It's much higher density, but it means a lot more housing being built right here in the city around transit hubs.
That's amazing. How do you...
But I might need help in getting it through council.
Yeah. Did everybody hear that? Speak with your counselor.
Yes.
How do we get around the issue with increasing density in places where there are traditionally single-family homes, where we have, you know, the NIMBYism and the how do we transform and or evolve that to our current context and our needs?
That's a difficult question. The best way is to show rather than tell. Because you can change the zoning bylaw. We did. 90% of the city zoning have been changed. People don't know that. It used to be the zoning is only for single-family homes. You can now build multiplex, granny suite, sixplexes, most part of the city, apartment units. So it's already very relaxed. The people just don't want to, or financially not able to, and not used to it. What we need to do is keep showcasing the successes and say that there's nothing to fear. Areas that have higher density, that have different kind of buildings, their vitality and the vibrancy and prosperities are up. Areas that never changed, that are stuck in the same way, there are fewer residents, and they have less money, and they are not, the property value have not gone up. So if they want their homes to be in an area more dynamic, more services, you need to provide more residents, allow more neighbors to move in.
Show, don't tell. Don't just tell.
Well, I could force it, but you know, that's difficult to do. Because democracy at the end of the day,
of course,
matters. Yeah.
Of course. Let's talk about safety. You mentioned, yeah, you mentioned this just now. You know, Toronto continues to grow, as do concerns around community safety, crime rates. You mentioned crime rates. Our shootings have been down, and thefts have been down. But can you elaborate a little bit more about the things that the city is doing to make Toronto safer?
Yeah, I talked about hiring more officers. If you just look at pure numbers, right? The youth gun violence have dropped by 60+%. Right? So, but I can talk about statistics, but you don't feel safe. That's a problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's the feeling of being safe. And sometimes because you see people on the street, other times in subways, you don't always feel safe, which is why we are encouraging people, if they see other people that have needs, just let us know. We have hired 400 plus more TTC workers to make sure, special constables, both to make sure the stations are clean, and more eyes and ears, no invasion of fares, right? Also, that if you have a problem, you have someone to talk to. So the incidents in TDC in terms of problems have also gone down. So it's this feeling of security is very important. One of which is to bring more people out in encampments indoor. Because when you see, you're nodding already, when you see people sleeping in your local parks, it's a problem, right? So we are actively trying to bring more people in, especially it's now winter, it's cold. We just need to build a lot more supportive housing. And the other encouraging thing is that the federal budget, Build Canada Homes, has $1 billion. We should be able to get about $140 million plus or more to build supportive housing so that we can then bring folks into permanent housing rather than having them sleep in the street or be in shelters.
Yeah, that was going to be one of the questions. I mean, I think we all know that is a tremendous issue that really came to light during COVID and has continued to plague us. So that's very wonderful.
The problem is our shelters is full. Until you build more supportive housing, you can't transfer people from shelters into housing.
And we saw that in the budget, right? We saw the as part of your New Deal investment in new shelters in that partnership. I know that we have a few minutes. I'm going to turn to some audience questions.
Sure.
Does that work?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Super. I'll take this one first. How will you ensure the city is resilient in the face of climate change? Union Station flooded days after its renovation. These events will get more intense and frequent.
Yep. Yep. We have a snowfall. This is November 10th. Not even Remembrance Day yet. The flooding is dramatic. We've completely revamped our snow clearing operation. It's now centralized. It is now, there's a surge capacity. We have 200 people that are on standby if there's a major storm.
Like today? No,
we didn't need to use the 200, but they were ready. We have better communication. We have buy new equipment because 50% of those equipment that were purchased previously did not work. It was mostly in the shop. We are getting better contracts because the contracts that were signed in 2019, 2021 did not include snow removal. We just shovel the snow. If you don't remove them, they will just block your driveway. Figure that out. So we are changing. Don't ask me, I wasn't there to sign that contract. Let me tell you, there were a series of contracts I looked at. I said, pardon me, no snow removal? That didn't make sense. So we're fixing that. We are consolidating the different departments. There's a central command. It used to be different unions, different departments, they're doing different things. One-stop shop. That's the same thing we did with Café TO. Remember, Café TO was a complete. You get your license for your patio close to the end of summer. That didn't work. It's now working. It's now easy to apply. You get it on time. The approval with zoning, I talked about the same thing. It's just get the service done right, basic service, one-stop shop. Don't make it too complicated. So, but in terms of flooding, we just worked with the federal government. They gave us a big chunk of dollars to do flood protection by building the Black Creek sewer trunk line so that the York Southwestern area that floods all the time when we build out those gigantic pipes, that we will be able to take the water and be able to flow it into the right place rather than to your basement.
That's good.
Not your
Thank you.
basement. Not
my
your basement.
But
Yeah, because they tend to overflow if you don't draw them elsewhere.
that seems to be a signature move of yours, is to centralize, make one person in your administration responsible for issues. I remember when you were here last, you said the same thing as the deputy city manager for housing. You said housing is all spread out, and now we've got 80% faster approval.
That's
so
right.
that's
right.
great.
It just makes sense, but it didn't used to be that way, but it took some work.
Yeah, of course. I have a couple of questions here that are related to different neighborhoods in the city.
Sure.
And so I'm going to consolidate them actually into one question. So if we think about, the city's recovery since COVID and sort of downtown recovery and commercial vibrancy, the balance of these two, what is your vision for how Toronto's core evolves in this post-pandemic era where we're attracting talent, where we're attracting tenants, we're attracting residents? How are you thinking about that, whether it's the St. Lawrence Market, whether it's, King West Village, like into the core here?
Well, our downtown is remarkably successful. How come? Because there's a lot of residents being able to live there, right? I used to be a downtown councillor. We dezoned the whole area, the Kings area, 99 projects in 10 years were built. So when you're able to have residents work close to where they live, less congestion. 2, we need to build the social infrastructure. So recently I just opened the YMCA. Yes.
On Richmond?
That's right.
That's the one.
Yeah, it's beautiful. We have 5,000 new members before I formally opened it. 5,000 new members of the YMCA. It has beautiful gym and swimming pools and amazing. Yeah, so you need to build, you need to have green space, you need to have place for children to play, you need to have place where people can gather because that's a good, complete neighborhood. And you have to have that. And these summer festivals, we call them the taste of everything from everywhere. There's always taste of Little Italy, taste of like, oh my God, there's so many tastes of everything. It's just, it gives people a sense of belonging and it keeps people, make it very vibrant. The whole downtown very vibrant. These festivals are not just downtown, they're all over the city. But it draws people out and it helps the local businesses. They tell me that the amount of money they make during the summer peak period help them last through the harder period in January and February. Those are hard times when it's cold and people don't come out as much. So I think it's a combination of supporting the industry, whether it's the tech industry, the film industry. We are a tech center worldwide. We employed 43,000 people in the film industry. All of that matters for the downtown recovery, but also good social infrastructure, good celebrations, all of that combined makes a livable city.
It's wonderful. One last question for you. This is from a student. As we approach 2026, what are you most excited about for the city of Toronto?
Most excited? Whew. We have the world coming to the city of Toronto. We call it the World Cup. Yeah, this is the, yes. Aren't you excited about it? We get to showcase our city again. Okay, we already did that in the Taylor Swift concert. Yeah, and then we did it again with the Blue Jays, yay. Yeah, so we are going to triple that, many times that excitement, that city pride, national pride, with the World Cup, FIFA coming. June 12th, folks, June 12th. Remember, first game. And the draw is happening in December, so we'll soon find out who's playing whom here. We have 6 games. We have a fantastic fan fest because, well, you know, our city is very diverse. We like to party, okay? So we're going to party together and we watch the game together. You saw how we watched the Jays together. This time is watching soccer, you know, the World Cup together. It'll be exciting. It'll be a grand party. We will bring in a lot of tourists into the city, and we will do very well.
Fantastic. Hopefully no Dodgers. I know. Hopefully no jerseys this time.
No. We have a very good Canadian soccer men's team, okay? Just so you know. So we'll see.
It's fantastic. Mayor, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. And on behalf of the club, I do want to thank Mayor Chow. You know, I said earlier that I think hopefully you'd make some news today. And we had the Prime Minister here on Friday, and that's a tough act to follow in terms of making widespread news. I think a commitment to hold the line on property tax might be the one thing that would draw attention of this city in such a big way. So thank you very much, Mayor Chow, for your candor and for your dedication to the city. I caught the mention of swagger in your remarks and getting the city its swagger back. I know that was in your inaugural address as well, and I think the work you've done at City Hall, the deals you've made, the financial health of this city is on the right track to get us our swagger back. So thank you very much. And thank you, Shazanne, so much for skillfully moderating today's conversation. Okay. Thank you once again to today's event sponsor, LiUNA. We appreciate your partnership and your support of the club. Thank you to our AV partners at VVC Live for making today's program possible. Before we go, I do want to invite you to our upcoming events. On Thursday this week, we have the Honourable François-Philippe Champagne, Canada's Finance Minister, for a discussion on Budget 2025. And on November 19th, we convene a conversation on Canada's infrastructure imperative with voices from TC Energy, Ellis Don, and many more. I do have the results of our book draw. The winners are Mike Gladstone from Enbridge and Councillor Nathan Chan, Ward 25. You can collect your books at the back. There's an offer for the book from the councillor. Congratulations to both of them. Members and guests, thanks for joining us today. We look forward to welcoming you again soon. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.